Hello, team. Happy Saturday and welcome to what appears to be the first waves of chilling fall in Australia. So, in our last episode, we looked at some basic concepts around agentic. Until last year, our understanding was that AI is good for automation. It can easily automate repetitive tasks, and that's where the impact is mostly going to be. That was correct. However, since then, things have moved way forward and with a very dramatic speed. And today's models have become so powerful and versatile that they are not only master in automation, but areas that involve creativity, content generation, research, analysis, and so on and on. A very simple example of such creativity is that the theme music for this podcast is generated by a model. In one of my previous LinkedIn posts, I have shared the prompt and the parameters I've used to generate this music clip using Gemini's latest Layer 3 model. The parameters were themselves generated by another model. In this episode, let's move forward to the next step. And let's explore what are some areas where these agentic capabilities are making the impact, both tech and non-tech related. And what are the different ways we can interact with these agentic capabilities, what we call as AI assisted versus AI driven, and how the roles in standard software development are changing. And finally, we'll take a quick look at some of the new IDEs built ground up to use AI and agentic capabilities for native software development. Welcome to Agents-925, and I'm your host, Farhan. Okay, so we read every day about all the amazing things agents and AI in general are doing these days. Broadly speaking, we can categorize all these different developments and capabilities into three key areas. Number one, agentic commerce. Example, ChatGPT, instant checkout. We will talk about that. What does it mean? Um, Number two, productivity uplift. For example, content generation, process automation, and AI driven SDLC. We got a lot to talk about it. And number three, operation intelligence. That includes smart prevention and intelligent diagnosis. Now, there might be other ways to look at it as well, but generally speaking, we can fit all these recent developments into these three broad categories. Let's explore a little more about each of these. Agentic commerce is the shift from customer driven shopping to agent driven shopping. Now, what does that mean? Instead of us as a customer browsing websites for a particular product, comparing their features, their prices, and user reviews, etc., we let the agent do all that for us. The idea goes back to personal agents that acts on our behalf and help us with the day-to-day course. A typical online journey today is like I need to buy headphones. Let me Google and search for what are some good brands available. Then I compare their features by Googling each one separately and reading user reviews. Once the brand is locked, the next step is to search where to buy it from and compare pricing. Finally, at the selected seller's website, I will add the item to my cart, provide my address and payment details at checkout. Our online behaviors are already changing. Have you realized that we don't search anymore? We basically ask. Searching something at Google, and you won't just see a list of websites like old days. At the top of the page, you get something called AI overview, which answers by understanding the context of your query. You can continue the conversation until you get what you want. With agentic commerce, the shopping journey does not start with Google. Rather, it starts with your agent. That is your favorite chatbot that you have on your mobile, like, for example, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, etc. Now, taking the same example, if you want to buy your headphones, you ask your agent, let's say ChatGPT, that you want to buy headphones and share what kind of headphones you're looking for. ChatGPT will perform all the steps by researching the brands that meets your requirement, compare user reviews and pricing, and make a final list of suggestions for you. This is not the future, it's already happening. The next step is whatever you will choose to purchase, ChatGPT will place an order on your behalf and let you know when the headphones will be delivered. And at any time in the future, you can ask ChatGPT, when are my headphones coming? And what's the order number? Or, for example, ask for a refund if you don't like the product on delivery. All of that by staying within ChatGPT without going to the seller's website. ChatGPT is introducing something called instant checkout, which brands and retailers are integrating with. And ChatGPT is just an example. All other agents are working in similar direction. Behind the scenes, ChatGPT connects with the seller's MCP server and completes the transaction. Remember MCP from one of our previous episodes? Yes, it's allowing the agents to connect to the outer world. That's in a nutshell what agentic commerce is about. And obviously, there's a lot more to it. Now, let's take a look what's included in the productivity uplift. I was reading an article from Matt Schumer on this, and he discussed some very good points. We are already across the advancements in content generation, generating music, like, for example, the theme music for this podcast, blogs, essays, articles, etc., has been happening since last year. But just so you can understand how fast these models are improving, in 2022, AI couldn't even do basic arithmetic reliably. It would confidently tell you that 7 times 8 is 54. By 2023, it could pass the bar exam. By 2024, it could write working software and explain graduate level science. By late 2025, some of the best engineers in the world said they have handed over most of their coding work to AI. And this year, February 2026, the new models released by Anthropic and other made everything before them feel like a different era. If you haven't tried AI in the past few weeks, what exists today would be unrecognizable to you from the past few months. Dario Moody, CEO of Anthropic, has predicted that AI models will be substantially smarter than almost all humans at almost all tasks by late 2026 or 2027. Let that land in for a second. If AI is smarter than most PhDs, do we really think it can't do office work? And the most fascinating thing is that these newer models are not built by humans, but they are built by previous models. On 5th of Feb this year, OpenAI released ChatGPT 5.3 Codex. The documentation reads, GPT 5.3 Codex is our first model that was instrumental in creating itself. The Codex team used early revisions to debug its own training, manage its own deployment, and diagnose test results and evaluations. That's AI generating AI, models making more smarter models. This isn't a prediction about what might happen someday. It is already happening. Now let's take a look at what does this mean for the work we are currently doing apart from technology, which we'll cover in a separate dedicated episode. Let's take an example of some non-technology related areas. Content generation we've already discussed. The front is already at peak. Marketing, copy, reports, journalism, technical writing, all of that is already here. The quality has reached to a point where many professionals can't distinguish between AI output from human work. Gemini has excelled in this area and is still improving. Legal work is a key area where the latest models can already read legal contracts, summarize case laws, draft briefings, and do legal research at a level that rival junior associates. Senior associates are increasingly using AI because it's outperforming their associates on many tasks. Building financial models is another example, analyzing data, writing investment memos, generating reports. Cloud Opus handles these competently and it's improving very fast. In the medical area, medical analysis, models are successfully reading scans, analyzing lab results, suggesting diagnosis, reviewing literature. These models are approaching or exceeding human performances in several areas. Customer services is another example. Genuinely capable AI agents are now leaving no grounds as compared to humans. The era of frustrating chatbots have gone, and the latest models are handling complex multi-step problems for most retailers that include product advice, checkout assistance, refund processes, etc. The idea that certain areas are safe and AI can't replace human judgment, creativity, and strategy thinking is suddenly disappearing. The recent models of this year make decisions that feel like judgment. They show how something that looked like taste, an intuitive sense of what the right call was, rather than just the technical correct one. A year ago, that was unthinkable. Now, what we should do about it? Perhaps that's a $1 million question. The experts suggest that we should start using these models more seriously. Don't just use them to ask questions, but try to integrate these agents and models more and more into our daily work tasks and see how they can help. We might find them not there at the start, but with multiple attempts, we would understand how to work with them. Just like when a new team member joins, it takes time to sync the frequency. 2026 is probably the most important year in this regard because this is the brief window where these models are at the edge of optimum maturity and people are still moving slowly towards adoption. The faster we move towards it, the better opportunity we can unlock. In a recent gathering of friends, the conversation started about what the kids should be studying with all this going on around us. Well, the answer was that we don't know, as this thing is moving so fast. The standard plot about getting good grades, good college, stable job doesn't look like it will help much, as it points directly to roles which are getting exposed. The key thing is to have the ability to adopt and work with AI and know how to use it best for your benefit. Along with the challenge, this presents a significant opportunity as well, where an individual with the right idea can perform the work that teams of experts used to do in offices. A concept known as digital FTE, which we will discuss in a future episode, along with tools like Claude Cowork, which makes using the agents a lot more user friendly. All right, so summarizing our conversation, we identified three key areas where AI is impacting fast: agentic commerce, productivity uplift, and operational intelligence. We will continue with the second part of this episode with productivity uplift and a special focus on technology with respect to software development and the third pillar, operational intelligence. With software development, we will discuss what's the difference between AI assisted and AI driven development and how each phase in the SDLC is getting impacted along with the roles on those stages. We'll also explore how new tools and IDEs and SRE agents are covering some grounds in that space as well. Well, hopefully that was useful. See you in the next episode.